track, boy.
Recent news of Louis Vuitton artistic director Kim Jones' departure sparked some to question whether the Italian fashion house would now swerve back into their own lane and out of that of streetwear. I'm Nate the Great from Flight 214, and I consider myself a pretty hardcore streetwear fan, but I'm also a fan of generally fly shit, so I can appreciate when things are done right, but what I don't appreciate is half-ass attempts to launch solely as a pursuit of cashing in. And I'm sure that many of you would agree that a large part of what luxury brands have done lately is just that. The grand unveiling of Supreme by Louis Vuitton was a watershed moment that signified an end of an era. Well, kinda, so to speak. Now, only difference between streetwear and luxury fashion is the fine print, i.e., where it's made, where it's sold, and what it costs. If you want a cotton sweatshirt with graphic print on it, you can find one from Stussy for $70. Or Givenchy for $7.90. Plain white sneakers, Reebok's got you covered for $75, but so does Saint Laurent for $5.95. On the surface, it's a great business idea. Lines are wrapped around the block of many of the boutiques stocking the pieces and items flew off the shelves. But despite the visible success, many hardcore streetwear fans actually hate the overall idea and practice. From dad hats by Balenciaga, fanny packs by Hermes, and hoodies and track jackets from Givenchy, luxury brands have flocked to vie for the streetwear consumer's dollar. Laughably so in some cases. Givenchy even went so far as stating, quote, "It's important for Givenchy to produce these sorts of pieces because streetwear is part of the house's DNA," end quote. Oh, sorry, but really? A 65-year-old Parisian couture house has streetwear in the DNA now? Really? But it's statements like these that make true streetwear fans cringe in disgust. But before we get too carried away, let's step back for a second and explore exactly how streetwear started, and we'll ultimately break down why the core ideals of streetwear and luxury brands clash so much. For those that may not know, streetwear is generally believed to have spawned from LA surf, skateboard, and punk rock culture in the late 70s and early 80s. As lore goes, local surfboard designer Sean Stussy began selling printed t-shirts featuring the same trademark signature he placed on his custom surfboards. Initially selling them from his own car, he eventually expanded sales to boutiques once his buzz picked up. Stussy's move into exclusive sales helped shape the definition of streetwear, taking a multifaceted, subculturally diverse, Southern California-based t-shirt brand and mimicking the limited feel of high-end luxury brands. And to this day, those are the two most important components that make streetwear, t-shirts and exclusivity. Early streetwear brands took inspiration from the DIY aesthetic of punk, new wave, metal, and hip-hop cultures. Echoing the anti-cultural, rough-around-the-edges style of punk rock itself, artists would produce their own mixtapes, and eventually went on to produce t-shirts and merchandise to sell to their fans, much like what Sean Stussy did. Soon, established sportswear and fashion brands began attaching themselves to the emerging early 80s hip-hop scene. Kangol and Adidas for the first time became household names for hip-hop fans thanks to artists like LL Cool J and Run DMC. And when Nike snatched up soon-to-be basketball superstar Michael Jordan from rival Adidas in '84, this proved to be a huge turning point. It marked the start of a dominating reign for the Oregon-based company in the urban streetwear sneaker market. Other clothing brands like Champion, Carhartt, and Timberland also became closely associated with the lifestyle, particularly on the East Coast, with hip-hop acts like Wu-Tang Clan and Gang Starr becoming synonymous with the looks. And in the mid to late 90s, sports teams joined the party, led by the popularity of such teams as the Los Angeles Raiders and the Chicago Bulls, to name a few. Throughout all this, streetwear was looked at as part of a counterculture, as it were. High fashion was always the pretentious, buttoned-up older sibling, who seemingly was ashamed of the more carefree younger brother. And it's not like streetwear brands haven't tried to reach out and bridge the gap in the past, but the extended hand was always spat upon and smacked away. When Dapper tried to bring Gucci to the lifestyle, he gets sued out of business. Supreme tries to incorporate the LV logo, and they too are met with legal action. But the raw-in streetwear persevered. Rather than wallow and cry because it wasn't invited to the party, streetwear threw its own proverbial party, and it was through this that street lux was born. Brands like Vetements and Hood by Air led the charge, releasing pieces that still fit the casual/comfortable criteria of streetwear, but with a more runway-inspired feel. It was around this time that luxury brands began to take notice. After all, it's hard to ignore a product selling out instantly upon release and then being resold successfully for up to 300% markup. High fashion began to spin their wheels and ponder on ways to capitalize on the culture of the youth. All of a sudden, you began seeing bomber jackets and jerseys and various sportswear being styled by classic fashion houses. Suddenly, almost every luxury brand wanted to release sneaker models now too. And then news broke of the full-on official collaboration between Supreme and Louis Vuitton, and open season had begun. Large logo branding was now fully embraced by luxury houses. Before, they preferred to use logos in a more understated way. Aside from accessories, most mainline offerings from luxury mainstays bear little obvious sign of the brand in which they came, aside from the label stitched in the garment's collar or waistband. Now, high fashion suffers from logo mania, finding absolutely no quarrel whatsoever with making it obvious. And this brings us back to why hardcore streetwear fans take issue with high fashion hype. Remember when I used the big brother, little brother analogy? Well, imagine a little brother who for years wanted nothing more than to run with his big brother who he so idolized. But as little brother came of age, he began to realize, wait a minute, I'm way cooler than my big brother. Why do I want to kick it with him? And that's the thing. Big brother now needs little brother because big brother didn't become a 100-plus-year-old fashion house without change, evolution, adaptation, and acquisition. Big brother now wants to capitalize on little brother's large and loyal consumer base and continue their legacy for one more generation by going after millennials. But for years, high fashion was synonymous with pretentious snottiness. In the past, and even now in some places, you would be auspiciously scrutinized and passively aggressively followed while shopping at best, and flat out asked to leave at worst for entering many a luxury brand store wearing streetwear apparel. And it's almost like they blatantly didn't respect streetwear as a fashion genre, or the participants. Now that they see the impact that it has on the youth, they want to take notice and stay clean. For me, streetwear has always been about expression and innovation, a bold way to display a small piece of one's personality to the world. But with a lot of the stuff coming from the luxe brands, it feels like just for profit. And don't even get me started on the outrageous price tags. I mean, it's one thing for exclusivity to drive hype to a point to where people are willing to pay 200 or 300% markups, although that's another story for another day. But it's completely different for a hoodie to be slapped with a $795 retail tag simply because of the name that's screen printed on it. Talking to you, Givenchy. Talking to you. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm not a hater. Some of the pieces I like from the old school fashion houses, actually. And I have zero problem with luxury streetwear brands. Brands like Fear of God, Vetements, and 424 on Fairfax actually passed the stuff because they actually did their homework. Not only are they able to create truly stylish clothing with high-end flair, but their work feels more authentic in a way because it's almost as though you can see that they have a passion for the lifestyle. Whereas with the old-fashioned houses, it feels like it's more or less just the next fad for them, the latest thing that the kids are into. Overall, the fact that streetwear is now receiving tons of attention and branching off into directions that many never could have foreseen is a good thing. The genre is finally getting the respect it deserves, and all the additions and collaborations, if anything, show that it can evolve in ways necessary to continue to thrive into the future. I think there's room for both streetwear and luxwear ultimately. And as streetwear fans, we just want to see the companies care and not just trying to money grab. So what do you think? How do you feel about high fashion appropriating streetwear aesthetics? Are you a fan of it, or do you long for the old days? Drop us a comment and let us know. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe because we are a new channel and we're definitely looking to grow and produce more videos and more interesting content for you guys. So from Flight 214, I'm Nate the Great, signing out.